My name is Nisha Myers and I have Architique by Nisha Myers. I paint furniture and I go to estate sales and buy lots of fun things and sell them in my booths in Wichita Falls. So I'm going to take you through the entire process. I'm going to first paint one. It's going to take a couple of coats, especially if it's a dark one. Oh, wrong brush. I used this one earlier. I just use these really cheap baggies to, I know a lot of people use plastic wrap, but I'm not very good at tearing plastic wrap when I have a wet brush in my hand. So I keep a box of those baggies in my craft studio and it just works a lot better. So I just start painting the books. And I don't do them all the same color in a grouping because I like the variety, but you can do all the same color. And then, I don't know if you can see. So just do the edges. The edges aren't really going to show. Okay, now I forgot to put a drop cloth on the table, but with chalk paint, you just can use a scrubby brush and wipe it right off. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it down. Just gonna paint the book. Can y'all see that? You might not be able to see. I'm gonna turn it. Okay, you can't see my face as well. Let me just be a little bit more modest. Okay. These Reader's Digest books have Pegasus stamped into them, which I think is pretty cool. Well, I think I have enough on there. This chalk paint really goes a long way also when you're painting it. So many wonderful things about chalk paint, and it's just going to stick. And if you want to paint both sides at once and not have to wait to flip it over, just grab the inside like this and hold it like this. Okay, so I'm just going to lay this book down. I don't know if y'all see. I'm just going to lay it down open like that. Okay. And like I said earlier, I just put my paint brushes in a plastic baggie. Set it aside. Okay, so we already have some painted. The magic of the TV, I don't know. And now I'm gonna decorate some. Okay, let me show you guys. Have you ever seen these molds? I think I got paint on it. So these are the molds. If anybody wants links, let me know. And so the molds are glued. Can you see this? Glued onto the spine of the book. And this one you can see I took the white paint and kind of did a wash over it. So I'm going to take you through the steps. I'm going to, I do not know how I got paint all over this mold. Anyway, squirrel. It'll wash off. Keep your paper clay after you've opened it in a Ziploc bag and get out as much air as you can. So I'm going to make, so I have about this much of the clay. Can you see that? And I'm going to try, see these are, since these are long, I'm going to do this one. I like this one. I'm going to roll it out. Like, you know how we used to make snakes with clay in grade school? That's what I'm going to do. And then you just smash it down. Alright, so I have it all smashed in here. I'll show you guys. All smashed in here. So you see that's all smashed in there, but it's raised a little bit. You see how it's raised a little bit? So this is actually by Pampered Chef, and it is just a pan scraper, a little plastic, but it's the tool I use. Can you see right there? And I just go over the top and scrape off the excess clay. And clean it up. Okay. And then I just throw the extra clay back into the paper clay to keep it moist. And then put it back in the Ziploc bag to keep it so it doesn't dry out. Okay, so it's nice and flat. But what I'm going to do is, before I try to peel it off, I'm going to lightly brush in to just clean the edges up. So I just go around the whole shape and lightly brush in. Alright, so now I'm going to try to peel it out and hope it comes out in one piece. I don't know if I can show y'all this. Do y'all see how it's lifting up? Okay, so you can see that. You push from the middle and pop it up. And I have wax paper, and you can see I made molds earlier today. So I have waxed paper that I'm going to kind of plop it out onto. Sometimes you have to encourage it a little bit with the scraper. I like to get all the edges to show me that they're going to pop up before I turn it upside down. Does that make sense? Okay. Here we go. So I might have to use this little scraper just to, and you don't want to mess up the design on your mold, so you just barely touch it with this, whatever tool you're using to encourage it to plop out. Okay, and it's out. So it's pretty fragile because it's wet, but this is what it looks like. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so I made a bunch of these earlier today. This one you can't really tell so much, but I did a little lion earlier. You see that? Little lion's head. I did some of these, I think they're fleur-de-lis is what they're called. And then I did some different book plates. So I have several different to choose from, and I'm going to use E6000 glue, and this is probably going to be backwards for you guys, but it's E6000. I've said this before on another live when I used E6000. Buy the package, the multi-pack with the smaller tubes, because I never seem to use up the bigger tube, and it dries up before I can use it. So I like to buy the smaller tubes. And this one is not open. I'm sure you all know how to do this, but you just turn the lid upside down, and you got a teeny tiny hole. You see that teeny tiny hole? Okay. So let's see. This one is pretty large. When you're buying the books, try to buy the widest, the thickest books, so you have more room to work on your spine. This one might be wide enough for the mermaid. So this was a mermaid, and she is the hardest mold I've ever had. It's so challenging to get this mermaid out of the mold. She's not completely dry. I did these this morning, but it's still okay to glue her on and maybe shape her to the, I think you can glue them on when they're not dry, but I like them to be dry. So she's actually not going to fit, and I don't know if she's wet enough, and somebody said just get her wet again. Wet enough to wrap her around. Alright, I'm going to do her on a different one when I feel like, when I have my water bottle. So this is a longer book. I'm going to put, I'm going to glue this book plate on. Can you see? And then I'm going to do these cute babies. Well, I don't know. Let me get this on here. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your E6000 glue, and you're just, I don't know if y'all can see this. You don't need too much glue to be squeezing out, oozing out. All right. So we're just going to turn this upside down, or right side up, I guess, and eyeball. I'm not the best at eyeballing and measurements. I always hang things crooked. Jeff comes behind me and fixes them. and then just smash it down. So it's on there like magic. And I'm going to kind of look, it's going to be, and this paper clay, it sometimes will crackle apart when it's drying. So let me show you what I mean. Do you see how this one cracked as it was drying? But that didn't bother me because I wanted these to look really old. So I think that I'm just going with that, and I think it really plays into the old look. Let's smash this down good. I may just leave that one because it's so decorative. I may not do other things on either end because it is so decorative. Okay, let's set that aside. And this white one, let me show you how I'm going to have these together. I will be selling them as a grouping. Oh, I want to show you one more thing. See this cute little charm? It's like a little key charm that I bought. I think I bought a package of them at Hobby Lobby, and that just adds a little extra if it's not. This one's going to be grouped together. So I'm going to have them like this as a grouping. So kind of before you decide, like I could do another book plate here, or I can just do a little bit at the top and bottom, just to have it so they're not all the same, just varied. So that's probably what I do. So I kind of want to set this down like this to dry. No, bad idea. Don't do that, Nisha. Okay, so let's add, I'm going to do these little decorative ones on either side. So again, I'm just using the E6000 glue. Just gonna position this on, and don't worry that it's the same color as the book. I mean, it's fine that it's the same color of the book. You could just distress and use some distressing wax and age the whole book, which is probably what I'll do. But I also might use some golden ticket on it. I don't know. I'm gonna glue this one on the opposite end. All right, so these are smashed on there. I'll show you this one. And you can take they have stamps that have writing. You could stamp that on there. So set this aside, and I'll check on them in a minute and see if they've slid down. Okay, so you guys can see I have a set that I'm going to do that are sage green and white. All right, I'm going to show you a couple of other ways that I like to decorate them. I'm not going to paint these yet because I want some that are going to be dry to show you how I'm going to bind them all together. Okay, so I'm just going to dry brush to give some more antiquing, a little bit of the gold, and just on the spine, just like that. And this patina, it's not a solid gold, so it does really well. You can paint with the golden ticket, you can make it solid. I did a pair of navy end tables, and I did all 8 legs solid with the golden ticket, and it was gorgeous. See that? Just a wash. And I think I'm going to carry it over. I'm not going to get too much. And I'm just going to kind of do the edges a little. Just like they've been, they're just a little worn. Maybe pull down. Okay guys, pull down, and it looks really cool. I really don't know if you can see that or not. Can y'all see that? That's going to look really cool. And I'm going to turn it upside down and do the other edge. And I'm going to do it on the back. Okay. Now I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. And these other molds are trying to pop off. Do y'all see them trying to lift up? So I'm going to maybe should have used more glue. I'll push them down again, and they're also sliding. Maybe I used too much glue. You'll never know. I'm gonna open the book and let it dry. So, we just learned to open the book and from the middle and lay it down flat. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys one more thing. Oh, no, I'm gonna show you two more things. I'll do it on this one that I have the gold on. These are stamps. So I have Mermaid. I don't think I'm going to put her on this one. I'm just going to show you some. This is more kind of a French, says Ancien Maison, which I know Maison means house. Ancien, I don't know if that means ancient. I don't know. I took French, but I have no idea. I don't remember it. That was a long time ago. So I'm going to use this one. This is the side. You see I've done gold on it before. I'm just going to brush a little golden ticket on it. There's a brush hair coming out. Just a second. All right, I'm just going to lightly brush the golden ticket on it. When you are using these stamps, you can use what's called a brayer, where you roll it in the paint and then roll it on. I don't have one, so I just use a brush. You just don't want to put it on too thick, or it's going to go down into the little crevices and you won't have a very defined image after you stamp it on. All right, and another tip, when these stamps all come on a big 12 by 12 sheet, in the beginning I was just peeling them off and stamping, but then I learned from my friend Michelle Bournes to leave it on the plastic backing and you have something to hold on to. So see, I'm holding on to it. So I'm just going to lay this down flat on the book. Once again, I'm just eyeballing it because that's how I do. And I'm going to smash it. Just put even pressure and then peel it up. And I'll show you what it looks like, if you can see. See that? I love stamps. And you can use stamps on furniture also. And you don't have to just do this on furniture. You don't have to be a furniture painter. You can just be a crafter. You can do a canvas with stamps. You can do a canvas, you do the mixed media, you can do some scrapbook paper decoupaged on, you can do stamps, you can do molds, you can just really have lots of creative fun. Put my lid here. Alright, so I've showed you molds, I've showed you how to paint the book, I've showed you molds, I've showed you stamps. So I'm going to show you one more thing that I got at the thrift store that's going to help. I never can get that lid on when I'm not really concentrating. That's going to help finish these up. So these I didn't paint or do molds on yet, but they all will have paint and molds because I needed some dry. So I bought these shirts for 99 cents at the thrift store. Look in the men's section for the largest shirts. This mold is trying to slide again even though I laid it flat. For the largest size shirts, so you get more ribbon for the money. And I just look for a cotton dress shirt. Start at the bottom. I usually do about an inch. Don't know if you can see this. Okay, so just made a little bitty cut. And then just rip until you get to the seam where you can't rip anymore and cut it. And it's going to have some strings on it, so I like to take those off. There's just the bottom seam I like to cut off also. There. Voila. Speaking all kinds of French tonight. Okay. So, we have our strings. We're going to pretend that these are all decorated pretty. I'm just going to lay them down. Can y'all see this? Lay them down in the middle of the, kind of in the middle. And then just tie them together. There, like so. So they can sit upright. with all of their decorated spines showing, or you can just lay them out on a coffee table, on a side table, on a bookshelf as decoration with the bow showing on top, the little knotted bow. And I like the real organic look of the rough edges when you do that, and I like that it was only 99 cents. So these books were 10 cents each, so we're at 30 cents. I'm going to probably get 10 ribbons out of one shirt, so that's 10 cents. So this is 40 cents, guys. If you already have bought molds and stamps for other projects and you have all your different chalk paints, pretty cheap. You could do this with, gosh, you have a Girl Scout troop and they need an art project. This would be great. My grandson was here today. He's 5 and he loves painting these books. He even made, I don't have it here. I think I do. No, my other daughter took it. But he even made molds. He's very good at that. I help him peel them out and glue them on. So even little kids can do this with you. You can do it, big kids. Wouldn't it be fun, like, if you are an activities director in a nursing home or something, to let them do molds and paint and stamps? I think that'd be so much fun. Anywho, I am going to finish these up with, I think the mermaid would be pretty on some of these green ones, and just pick different, I can put the lion's head on that one. So anyway, sky's the limit. If you are interested in growing your Facebook page super fast, check out artbynishamyers.com and check out my creative content community group, and we'll get you started, and we will get you, like I said, I grew 1,000 new followers in a month, so I can help you guys do that too. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for watching.